Hi, today we are going to go over lessons learned and running tips that I have learned along my journey as a runner. This is gold, y'all. It's information you need to have. So stay tuned because you don't want to miss it. Hello and welcome to Temple Running, where we are here to enhance your mind and your body, which we call your temple, through your souls. I thought it was important to do this introductory video because I plan to provide content that is going to help you to revive, begin, or enhance your running journey. And I thought it's important that you know who you're taking this journey with. I'm going to start off with a disclaimer. I am not a professional runner. This is not what I do for a living. I am not a nutrition expert. I am not a running coach. I am really just here with my own experience. I am a mother of a demanding 5-year-old. I have a demanding full-time career, and I am a wife. So my hands are pretty full. So this is something that I do to actually make all of that other stuff in my life easier, being a runner, and I'm passionate about it, and I want to share that passion with other people. Now let me tell you about my running experience. So I really began running on a regular basis, like for fitness, when I was deployed into Iraq between 2008 and 2009. It was very easy for me to make it a habit, and I just got better at it. When you're over there in the desert, like, your days are almost like Groundhog Day. So while I was there, I got into a routine. I started recording my times, how far. I was basically doing, speed work, because I would run for 30 minutes and see how many miles I can get into that 30 minutes. And as I continued through my time deployed, I got really fast. It got to where people that came to the gym was like, yes, that girl, she's a runner. And I was like, what? Me? Little old me? No, I'm just doing this. But I became a runner. That was what it was. So like I said, when you see people running down the street or see people on the treadmill at the gym and you're like, wow, they're a runner, you can be that person too. Any able-bodied person can become a runner. So my first tip is to say, make sure you start with a purpose or a goal. And my goal at that time was to keep my sanity and I didn't want to go home 15, 20 pounds heavier. I just wanted to be fit and I wanted to be happy, and running made me both. And I didn't even realize it at the time. I just thought I didn't want to get fat, but really it was helping me to get through that deployment, which was not the easiest thing in the world that I've ever done. So that's why I'm saying running can just add so much to your life. And once I realized that, I never let it go. So then at the end of 2009, my boyfriend at the time, who is now my husband, proposed to me. And we moved to a deluxe apartment in the sky. No, it wasn't all that. It was a little 2-bedroom apartment when we moved to Washington, D.C. But the building was very nice and it had a gym as one of the resident perks. So I was like, excuses out the window. I got to get ready for this wedding. Who doesn't want to be fly on a day where it's all about them and there will be 1,000 photographers taking pictures? It wasn't that many, but I'm just saying. And so it was Operation Get Fly for the wedding. And so I actually ended up enhancing my running past the 30 minutes, which brings me to tip number 2, which is to make sure that you find a reason to keep on moving forward and enhancing your game. Because mine was a wedding, but a wedding is hopefully a once in a lifetime. For some people, maybe a little more, but hopefully, your wedding day is something that you don't plan on doing a whole lot of times. So you need to find other reasons to enhance. And I have since then learned how to do that. I will pick a race. Races are very good to help you enhance your game if you're always getting ready for that. Or just finding different people on social media that are doing it just a little bit more than you, and then you do what you need to do to enhance your game. Not to compete with them, not to be like, I got to be on the highest level, but just find different inspirations to get you where you want to be. Enjoy the journey, but don't become stagnant. Okay, so I stepped my game up, and so now I'm doing like 5 miles about 4 times a week. And I got to my wedding, and I was fly. So mission accomplished. Then in 2011, some folks at work were like, hey, you guys, let's do a half marathon. And I was like, okay, that is way beyond my limits, but let's get there so that I can run this with you all. I'm up for the challenge. So I signed up for the race. So while training, I started running with this group of ladies on Saturday mornings. I would do my 5-mile runs, a few times a week on my own. And then I started running with these ladies. And I mean, it just made my distance running come so much easier. I mean, we laughed, we talked. And when I tell you this got me so far that I probably would have struggled by myself, but running with these ladies who a few of them were experienced runners, it really helped me to get to where I was running with the right form. They corrected my form. They told me how my breathing should be. They taught me all those little things that actually I still use, and I still give that advice to other beginner runners today. So that brings me to tip number 4. And tip number 4 is to find a run partner or a person to run with that can hold you accountable so that you roll out of bed on that Saturday morning when you just really want to sleep in. That accountability person, that person sitting there waiting for you, will get you out of bed. So tip number 4, get a run partner. The right run partner can make it all easier. So my first marathon was the Rock and Roll Marathon for Washington, D.C. A friend of mine from work, he ran with me, and we finished in about 2 hours and 10 minutes. And it just felt good. At the end, I didn't feel like I was going to die because I trained and I was ready for it. And it was just so much adrenaline going through me because races are amazing. I feel good. It's the whole vibe that you get when you get there. I can't even explain it. And it's addicting. So this brings me to tip number 4. And tip number 4 is after you get comfortable with a little distance, sign up for a 5K or a 10K or a half marathon or even a full marathon if you're up to that level. It is amazing. I can't talk about it enough. This is the euphoria I get. I have put myself through 13.1 miles 45 times. I put myself through the Dopey Challenge, which is 48.6 miles in 4 days because of this feeling that you get. It's amazing. Definitely sign up for a race once you're ready. So after my first half at marathon, I continued to run long runs on Saturdays with the ladies. And then the worst thing happened. I got my first run injury. Something happened with my knee. I can't even tell you how, when, where it happened, but all of a sudden I could barely walk on my knee. So then I actually had to go ahead and start to try to heal it. And the way you heal a run injury is to stay off of it, which was really hard to do because the group of ladies I was running with had decided that we were going to travel to Dallas for a half marathon, for the Rock and Roll Dallas half marathon. I was super excited and it was so great and I was looking forward to it. So the injury just kind of put, a little halt on that, and I wasn't trying to hear it. Which brings me to tip number 5. If you are injured, stop running. It's not going to get better if you keep running on it. It took me so much longer to heal when if I would have just sat down for a minute, I probably could have still made it to my half marathon. So I had to go out and support my friends, which was a great part, but I had to go out to a race and not run. And that was very difficult to do. And that was a really hard lesson learned because shortly after that, I finally sat down somewhere and I healed up pretty quickly after that. So I came to find out after I went to a running clinic, because of my knee, it made me want to sign up for a running clinic. But I found out that the reason why I got the injury in the first place is because I was running in the complete wrong kind of shoes. Now, when I started running, I had heard all these things about, oh, you running barefoot is the best thing you can do. So you want to find the lightest, most conforming shoe so that you can be as close to barefoot running as you can. I know, runners, stop cringing. I know that was totally bad advice, but I was a new runner and I did not know better. So I bought these thin Nike running shoes and I'm running in them, and come to find out, I'm not the kind of runner that can run in those shoes. There are runners who can run in those shoes, but I'm not one of them. I need a stability shoe, which is one of the thicker sole shoes, which I thought were all clunky and were going to weigh me down. But once I found out what kind of shoe I needed, I have been injury-free since. No foot, no ankle, no knee, no leg. I have been injury-free since. You got to find the right shoe. It's very important. So that's tip number 6. Find the right shoe that goes with the way that you run. And there are clinics, there are shoe stores, there are several different sources. Just look in your community around you. I'm sure there's a run store somewhere or a shoe store somewhere that does the test for you. You need to find out how your foot lands. If you land like this, if you land like this, how your foot lands when it hits the ground determines what kind of shoe you need to keep your body in the best shape possible as a runner. So after I recovered from my injury, like I said, it was not too long after I set my behind down somewhere. I was able to, I moved to Turkey. And so over there, I did a couple of international runs. I got over there, I did a couple half marathons and a 15K. And then I got pregnant. So I continued to keep my running up because the doctor said I could. So I kept running, a pretty good distance up until it was not comfortable for me. And then after that, I just started walking, like 5 miles a day just to keep myself in shape so that I would be able to get back to running as soon as possible after my pregnancy, and also to keep myself in the best health that I could while I was pregnant. And so that all worked out great for me. So after I had my son, I was very anxious to get back to running. So I made a goal for myself. When my son was 10 months old, I did my first half marathon when I came back to the States. I did the rock and roll in Savannah, Georgia, and it was also in memory of my husband's cousin who had passed, and her husband did it as well. And it was just really nice to run for a purpose, to run with somebody in your heart and in your mind. So that's another thing I recommend to you. If you've lost somebody, pick a race around their birthday, pick a race around the day you lost them. It really helps you to feel that person in your heart and to do something like something you love for someone you love. It's just a win-win situation. So I recommend it to anybody. But I did that race, and then I said, I really want to do 10 half marathons next year to get myself back in my normal running shape after the baby. I ended up doing 11 half marathons in 2016. My goal was 10, and I got one slapped on at the end of the year, but it was amazing. And I said, I'm going to do this. I'm going to keep doing this. So that brings me to tip number 7. And tip number 7 is make goals for yourself. They make the finish line so much sweeter, and they're so much fun. I love making goals. I love goals. I love themes. I love things to get me motivated like that. So make goals for yourself. I said I was going to do 10 half marathons, and when I did that last one, you couldn't tell me I wasn't on top of the world. You would think I won Olympic gold. Because I did something that I never thought I could do. I thought that was just beyond me, and it wasn't, and I did it. So I'm telling you, it's worth it. Set these goals and then meet them, and you will be amazed at what it adds to your life. So I did the 10 in 2016, and It felt so good. I did it again in 2017.
Another one.
2018.
Another one.
And 2019. And 2020, because of this pandemic, I have done 0. I was literally supposed to do the New York. I got selected for the lottery for the New York Half Marathon. I was so excited that I was going to get to run through Times Square and everything. It was supposed to be March 15th, and we literally locked down on March 14th. And they had canceled the race quite a bit before then anyway. So, yes, I have none on the wall for 2020. So I think 2020 is going to be a wash. I'll be able to pick it back up again in 2021. Hopefully. We'll see. If you guys wear your mask, wash your hands, stay home, stay out these streets, we can get past this pandemic and we can get back to doing our races. So, do it for everybody. Don't be selfish. So that's my running story. That brings us here to 2020. So we will cover the tips I gave in this video in so much more depth on this channel. If you want to start running, subscribe to this channel. If you're an experienced runner, subscribe to this channel. And if you're interested in seeing more from me and want to see more and want to know when I post videos, hit that subscribe button and hit the bell so that you know when I post a new video. Also, please follow my running vlogs on Facebook and Instagram. The links are below. Thank you for watching and see you next time.